Hi, I'm going to be doing my presentation on marine mammals and plastic pollution. Just to go over what we're going to be talking about in this presentation, I'm first going to go into plastic pollution in the ocean in general, then I'll go into a little bit about birds and plastic pollution, and then I'll go into turtles and how they're affected by plastic pollution, then I'll mainly talk about how marine mammals are affected by plastic pollution. At the end, I'll talk about future solutions that we can do or what some countries are doing to try to combat the plastic pollution that's ending up in the ocean. This picture here is a sculpture made entirely out of plastic waste by Greenpeace in the Philippines. It's called Overdosed on Plastic. So in general, plastic is in every ocean all over the world. You can find it anywhere. It can range from sizes less than 5 millimeters to huge pieces of plastic. The pieces that are less than 5 millimeters are called microplastics, which can affect the smallest marine animals, such as phytoplankton, zooxanthellae, any really small marine animal. It can also affect blue whales that are hundreds of feet long. Between California and Hawaii in the Pacific Ocean, you can find the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. This is a garbage patch that is nearly the size of Texas, and it's just filled with garbage and plastics. About 46% of this mass is from fishing nets, about 8% is from microplastics. There were some researchers that did a study on this garbage patch, where they took aerial images of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. They also did trawling samples where they separated the different sizes of plastic through a sieve tower. They found that 99.9% of the debris that they captured was from plastics. All the debris that they captured was 668 kilograms. This patch in the ocean mainly consists of polyethylene and polypropylene instead of artificial and natural debris. They also found that the majority of this debris is submerged in the water and not floating. Next, we're going to talk about how plastic pollution affects birds and turtles briefly. There was a study done on the Dutch coast that showed that 80% of the debris that washed up ashore had peck marks. These birds eat cuttle bones from cuttlefish. They found that the cuttle bones that had washed ashore looked very similar to the plastic that was washing ashore as well, and they noticed that the cuttle bones along with the plastic had peck marks in them. So they came to the conclusion that the birds were attempting to eat the plastic just as much as they were attempting to eat the cuttle bones. When we go to turtles, we always hear a lot about turtles and how they are affected by plastic. There was a study done over 123 years where 408 leatherback sea turtles were studied. They found that 34% of these turtles had plastic in their gastrointestinal tracts. It blocked their digestive tracts, which decreased the amount of food that they could eat. This is not very good for the turtles especially for leatherbacks, because they need to go on long migrations to reach their breeding grounds and nesting grounds. And if they have a very low food reserve, they're going to have low energy and they're not going to be able to make these migrations. So this is just one of the figures from a paper that I found, and it discussed how different marine animals that are affected by entanglement and ingestion of plastic. They found that about 89% of entanglement is due to plastics to many species, but marine mammals is a large number of cases. So the ones with the stripes, so these ones here, that represents about 89% of entanglement, which is like right here. and these lines represent marine mammals. On this side of the graph, it represents ingestion. About 85% of ingestion material are made of plastic, and that's not just marine mammals, but it just goes to show how much plastic is being ingested and how many animals are being entangled by plastic. So now we're going to dive into marine mammals and plastic pollution, what this whole presentation is about. So many young marine mammals are very curious and they're very naive feeders. So they kind of just go after what they see, not understanding what it is. Entanglement can cause starvation. It can cause suffocation. Considering most marine mammals go to the surface to breathe, if they're trapped underwater in plastic, they're not going to be able to reach the surface to breathe. Also, if the animal is thrashing, it could cut off a limb. Just a quick example about this is Winter, the dolphin at Clearwater Marine Aquarium. She was stranded on a beach in Florida where she was entangled in crab trap line, which cut off circulation to her tail flukes. Her tail flukes eventually started to break off into pieces because most of it was necrotic tissue and it was dead. So now, this is Winter. She does not have a tail now because it all fell off. In the movie, Dolphin Tale, they said that they amputated it, but they actually didn't. The tail fell off from loss of circulation. So this is just an example of entanglement and how that can affect animals. Also, there was another study done by Williams, and they noticed how young seals can stick their head through small plastic holes, and as they grow older, the plastic will start to grow with them, and depending on how pliable the plastic is, it can either strangle them or it can grow with them and just not strangle them as much, but they'll just have it forever with them. There was another study done by Lusher where they talked about beaked whales, and they found 3 stranded on the north and west coast of Ireland. They found plastic debris and the contents of the stomachs and intestines. And this study that was done was the first to identify microplastics in cetacean species, which is amazing because microplastics are very small. And although they were not able to determine if the microplastics were from their food source that they were eating or if they directly consumed these microplastics, which is a very high possibility. Because if they're feeding and there's microplastics in the ocean now, just floating around, when they go to capture food, they could also be capturing microplastics with them. They also found macroplastics, which are the large pieces of plastic, in their digestive tracts as well. Which these microplastics, as discussed before, can block digestive tracts and decrease the amount of food they eat. When they decrease feeding, they don't know that they're doing this. They think that they're full because their digestive tract is blocked, or it's full to them. It's full of plastics. They just can't digest them, so they go long periods of time without eating. And if they try to eat, they can't digest it because the digestive tract is blocked. So some international policies that some countries and states are doing are trying to ban or partially ban single-use plastic bags, which you can get at the grocery store or anywhere you go shopping. North America, or the United States, are probably the most lacking in this area. There's some states that are trying to ban plastics. My town has always said that they want to ban plastic bags, but they've been saying that for a few years and we still haven't banned plastic bags. We've started to ban styrofoam in our town and our state, but that's only a very small step. But Australia and the UK and Europe, they are all trying to ban or partially ban single-use plastic bags. Also, some companies are adding a fee to plastic bags. So when a company tries to buy plastic bags to provide in their store, that company or that store will provide a fee. Also, when I was in Australia, we had to pay for plastic bags. We had to pay about $1 per plastic bag if we wanted to use that for our groceries. Some future solutions. So I've heard about this a lot. There's a product called Eco 6-Pack Ring. This is it right here. It's basically a biodegradable 6-pack ring that holds cans. It can degrade in a matter of weeks when outside, compared to plastic that takes years to degrade. It won't cause harm to animal if ingested because it can break down. They are a very small business right now, but they hope to get bigger and bigger. Another solution could be thermal degradation. This is when petroleum-based plastics are heated and turned into liquid hydrocarbon fuel. The only byproducts of this are the carbon dioxide that's produced by 2 people breathing out for 2 hours, water vapor, and biodegradable carbon. All of these byproducts are disposed of monthly, and the hydrocarbon fuel that is produced as a byproduct can be used for the fuel for the boats that are collecting the